Welcome everybody to tonight's show, Razorback Live with the Sarge. I'm the Sarge.
And I'm Hog Wild YT.
And I'm the homeless guy.
Yes, by popular demand, we brought back the homeless correspondent Tonka Todd to help us break down as we go through the mind of the defensive coordinator Ron Roberts. Tonight we're going to show you guys what we think Ron Roberts' defense could look like this year going into the season. And we will get started with right here. Tonka Todd, take it away.
Okay, so what Ron Roberts likes to do is he uses 33 personnel. That means three down linemen, three linebackers to present a nickel front. That means it looks like a nickel, but it's not normal nickel personnel. And we're going to go step by step and show you exactly kind of what's happening. We're going to start at the free safety position here. His responsibility is called jump. That means he's going to jump the first deepest route that comes to him. No. Now you see here he's lined up on the hash, and what that is he's lined up exactly where the quarterback is, and that gives him the freedom to bail back, and he can bail back to the field side where the twins are at the top, or if there's going to bring pressure, because Ron Roberts loves to call a nickel blitz and he loves to call a cat. That means a corner blitz, okay? He loves to call those. And with your safety right here, that gives your safety the freedom to go to either side of the field he needs to go to. Next, you have your two corners. Now, you notice here, your two corners here at the top, they're playing off about 5 yards, which is fine. The reason why they're playing off 5 yards is because the safety is over here on the boundary side. And you don't want to play bump and run if you have no help over the top, okay? This also is a great way to disguise coverage if they're going to play man or zone, right? Coming down to the second safety down here, this is your boundary safety or strong safety, right? If you're a Madden player, this is your strong safety, okay? And in this situation, he's lined up here on this tight end because he has what's called tight responsibility on the boundary side, okay? And because of the formation by the offense. The linebacker that is on the hash here, on what we call the seam, that's your Mike. Next to him is either going to be your Will or your Sam linebacker, depending on what personnel you want there, and that's dictated by down and distance and what the offense likes to do, right? Going to the line of scrimmage, here at the top, we have what's known as the star. If you move down one, and the star is lined up here because there's a tight end here because the offense is showing 12 personnel, right? South of the star, we have the 5. Okay, now the 5 is either going to be lined up head up on the tackle there, or he may play an inside shade. Okay, and that's, in this case, it looks like he's playing more of an inside shade because the star is on the outside. Now, because they're aligned like that, that simulates pressure, and that quarterback sees it, and he's like, okay, there's a possibility I'm going to have a guy, an extra rusher coming over here. And so that kind of makes him double think some things, and he may actually change the protection up front, and he may not need to. So it's wasting time, right? Next to the 5, we have the nose. Now, the nose, his job is to gain the attention of the center and the guard, okay? And what he's going to do, Ron Roberts' defense runs on what's called a single gap responsibility, okay? That means everybody on the field basically is assigned a gap, one gap, the only gap they have to read. It makes reading an offense very simple and fast. Fast is the key. Now, this nose tackle is going to shoot but the one gap here, which is between the center and the guard. South of the nose, we have our 3. Now, our 3 is locked up one-on-one against the guard. That's advantage to the defense. And here, he's playing an inside shade, but that's to help create spacing for some possible twists or stunts later. But otherwise, he's going to shoot that gap right there. South of him, you have your jack. And your jack, in this situation, he's lined up here on the outside shoulder of your tight end, or he's playing an outside shade technique, okay? He's not really playing like a wide nine. It's more of a tight fit than that, but he's lined up on the outside shoulder of the tight end, and he's lined up there so he can chip the tight end to slow the tight end down if the tight end releases to go for a pass route, because he's got help over the top because of the boundary safety. Otherwise, he's coming and he's head hunting for the quarterback.
Awesome. So before we move on to the next setup we got, in this variation, would you say this is more like what we will see on a down-to-down basis setup here without the exoticness of the blitzes?
Basically, yeah. The only difference you would see is where the star is aligned. In this case, the star is stacked outside there because the offense is running 12 personnel. So you want him to come down to watch out for your offline tight end there.
And you can also run, like the jack could run a twist where he could come into the inside and come up the middle too, if he wanted to. So
right, and
this defense gives you multiple angles of attack is basically what it's good for.
Right, but because you're using 33 personnel and you're using a piece of 33 philosophy, which is number 1 to disguise the mic, number 2 to disguise your coverage, and number 3, the quarterback has zero clue where the blitz is coming. Think about walking in tall grass, right? Grass as tall as you are, and you're walking through raptor country. You don't know where they're coming from or when they're going to attack. That's what this defense simulates to the quarterback.
Yeah, that'd be scary. Okay, great. So now we got the positions down. For people that may not, know the positions on defense or new to watching football or watch football just casually. Now you got a little bit of a reference, and you can always come back and watch the video again. And if you're confused on what players doing what where, is the whole reason we're doing this video for you, the viewer, is to help you guys learn and be able to watch a game and know a little more about what's going on. So, YT, let's move on to the next one, and we'll let Coach diagnose it, and then we'll run it through and see it in action.
This is old Baylor, because he was the defensive coordinator at Baylor in 2021 when they had the 5th ranked best defense.
Yeah, and he also, the reason we show different like Baylor footage and Florida footage is because he throws little wrinkles in every time he moves schools, due to the fact is obviously he don't want to be, give offenses a ton of film to look at to diagnose his defense. So it's very smart concept, I think, is you just add little wrinkles or change things up just a little bit so they can't, go back 5 years and look at you and be like, okay, it's the same thing for 5 years. So smart on that part. So, all right, Coach, go ahead. Break it down.
Okay, starting in the back end of the secondary here, we have our 2 safeties. Okay, we have our boundary and our field side safety. Okay, so they're presenting a 2 high shell, right, or a cover 2.
Coach, can I stop you for a second?
Yeah.
One thing I should have asked in that previous video we had pulled up, could you tell the viewers what they were set up as in like a cover 1, cover 2, what that formation was?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what are they set up in right now?
Okay, right now they're set up in what's known as a cover 1. Okay, now this is going to be confusing for those that only know football from playing Madden. Okay, cover 1, cover 2, cover 3, cover 4. Those are not zones. Those are not man. They're both. You can play zone or man no matter what. What that means is how many safeties are deep. How many players do you have are deep? Here we have one man deep, so this is a cover one front pre-snap. Now does that mean it stays that way? No, because this free safety can bail uh, upwards here as we're looking at the screen to provide over the help top for the two corners, and this boundary safety can bail back, and now you've got a too high shell, which frees up the Mike to either come and take the tight end. The Jack could take the tight end. The quarterback has no idea what's going to happen when he snaps the ball.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Go ahead, YT. Back to the other one. And what do they set in on this one before you go through the positions?
Okay, well here they're showing a too high shell, which is fancy talk for two safeties in the backfield.
Okay. All right. Go through them.
Okay, so we start off. We have our two safeties. Okay, now you notice the boundary safety here is playing up over the Y, and so once again, are they in man? Are they in zone? The quarterback has no idea. Going to the linebackers, once again, the Mike is on the scene. Okay, then you have either your Will or your Sam, depending on, once again, personnel and what the offense likes to do, right? Then you have, starting at the top of the screen, you have your corner here. Then you have your 5. You have your nose. You have your 3. You have your Jack. And then at the bottom of the screen, you have your other corner. And I should also clarify, a 5 means defensive end. Okay, like Michael Strahan was a 5. Okay, I'm trying to think of somebody more modern that the
Micah Parsons.
Viewers, Micah Parsons actually would be a Jack in this situation, but yeah, a defensive end. A 3.
J.J. Watt.
J.J. Watt is a 5, absolutely.
Or Dante Fowler.
A 3, right? A 3 is a defensive tackle. Right, that's your Warren Saps. That's your. I'm trying to think of some other guys. My brain is going blank right now for pro players.
The guy that just retired from the Rams a few years ago.
Yeah, he was actually more of a nose, but yeah. And then of course your Jack is your third linebacker of your 3-3. All you're doing is moving him to the line of scrimmage and you're standing him up. And the reason why you want at least one end, right, standing up is because once the ball is snapped, well, pre-snap, he can stand up and he can see more of what's happening down the line of scrimmage than the 5 can, because the 5's got his hand in the dirt and all he can see is the tackle in front of him. The Jack stands up, he can look down, so if they make any kind of shift or motion in the backfield, he can call that out to the line. And he's more prepared to read and react if necessary.
Very good. Let me ask a question, and this may be preemptive, we may get into this later, but it's on my mind now, so I'm going to ask it now. This defense that Ron Roberts is going to run this year, in our opinion or your opinion, is it suited more to be a run-stopping defense or a pass-stopping defense?
Either or.
Okay.
It depends on the defensive play called, and that actually depends also on the down and distance, what the offense likes to do in those down and distance situations. Are they a run-heavy team? Do they like to utilize their tight end on the seams? Do they like to run rub routes? You know, what do they like to do? Once I know that from watching game tape, preparing as a coach, then I know what defenses I can draw up and call during the game to counteract anything that they would want to do.
So this system allows you to run a multiple technique off defense.
Absolutely. The offense will never know what you're doing. They'll never know where the pressure is coming from. They're walking through the tall grass, and they know there are raptors in that tall grass, but they don't know where they are.
Nice. All right. I think
Would you like me to hit play on this to see it?
Absolutely. Let's see how this one works out.
Right, and watch, if everybody shoots one gap, you have a free rusher. Now look at there.
Oh, it was tough coverage, but
That was you can't defend a great catch. Okay,
Yeah.
sometimes it happens, right? But there you saw there was two guys back there with him at the ball. Okay, that was just a great throw and catch. Sometimes that happens,
Yeah.
but the point is how fast the defense reacted to that pass. Right,
Yeah.
how fast that safety got over there.
right,
Yeah.
and you see here, it's your safety back here is just blanketed over that receiver, breaking up that pass. It all depends on your personnel.
Right.
Do you have the personnel to cover for that long?
Right. Now, at Florida, he did have a little bit of problems against the pass most of the time. That was nothing against his system. That is nothing against him as a coach. That is 100% a personnel problem because let's face it, guys, Florida did not have the best secondary in the world.
Right, and you can see it out of this.
Okay,
This play right here.
Before you go any further with this play, do you see, as you noticed last year, we had a hard time getting to the quarterback,
Right.
which allowed quarterbacks to pick our defense apart.
Right.
Do you see with this system ways that we would be able to pressure quarterbacks more consistently than we did last year under T. Will's defense?
Oh, Arkansas fans, you're going to see a day and night difference, and it's because the main difference all starts up front with the front seven. Okay, that your defensive line and linebackers, right? That's your front seven. Okay, and it all depends. It all starts with them. Where are they aligned? What are their jobs? Under T. Will, you had guys lined up head up, and they would run straight into the offensive lineman, and they would try to stand him up and hold him up because they were running what's known as a two-gap system, which means one man is responsible for the gap on either side of the offensive lineman.
So again, in this system is one of the keys, and I may be speaking out of turn here, is keeping our linebackers, so as they say, out of the wash and clean, so they can create havoc. Is like last year, it seems like a lot of times our linebackers couldn't make plays because they were already blocked out of the play.
Right. Well, with this, like I said, the main difference, T. Will ran like a two-gap system. Okay. Robertson runs a one-gap system. Okay, which means everybody has one gap to read. That's it. Okay. And that makes it faster and easier for the defense to read and know what's going on, to know what their job is. So, like here, your nose, right, is going to run between the guard and the tackle, and that's going to make that guard turn to him, and that's going to make that that center turn to him. Okay, so one man has taken out two offensive linemen, and you say, well, what's the big deal about that? Well, there's 5 offensive linemen, 4 defensive linemen. The numbers say offense has the advantage. So I'm going to take that away from you with how I position my defensive linemen. Okay, key is the nose. So my one nose takes out your 2 interior guys, right? Your center and your guard. Okay, that means my 5 or my defensive end is 1-on-1 with the tackle. My 3 is 1-on-1 against a guard. My jack is 1-on-1 against your tackle. And whenever you're 1-on-1, advantage always goes to the defense because defensive linemen have more freedom of what they can do with their hands than an offensive lineman does.
So
basically, a bit of gamesmanship.
So basically, what happens is in a defense like this, in a one gap system, it becomes, can my man beat your man in 1-on-1? Exactly. And 9 out of 10 times, the defense is going to win. Okay. 9 out of 10 times. Can you just briefly, I don't need, not in depth, but can you briefly show the difference between the one gap and a two gap system?
Sure. So A two gap would be an example.
We may not be set up for you to show it on here, right?
Oh, that's no. I
Hold on, I can do it real quick.
This is kind of impromptu. This was not scripted into the video tonight, but I thought that was a good kind of show the difference between what T will run and what we're going to be running next year. Good comparison.
Right. So like I said, Arkansas, their front line ran basically a two gap. Now, what that means is like I said, your defensive lineman is holding up an offensive lineman, and he's playing peekaboo. He's peeking over each shoulder of the offensive lineman, and he's looking for the ball. That means there is no penetration, okay? None. And when there's no penetration, that means the clock for the quarterback slows down. Now, what I mean by that is there's a clock every quarterback has, right? The quarterback needs to read, find his open man, deliver the ball, all in under 4 seconds. That's if he has a good offensive line. Okay, Texas did not have a good offensive line. So for Mr. Manning there, he had more like 2 to 3 seconds to find the open man. Okay? Now keep that in mind. Not a good offensive line. We all saw what Florida did to Texas last year.
Right.
Okay? We all saw what everybody did to Texas last year because their offensive line was trash. Let's just call it what it was. Okay? But here, actually, if Hog Wild can take us back pre-snap, I can show you.
Well, I got this guy's face. Hold on 1 second.
When you run a two gap, that's where the pocket. Okay, I'm going to use my hands here. Instead of having a pocket like this of offensive linemen, instead of a one gap system where I am shooting through and poking holes like Swiss cheese, instead I'm doing this to the pocket. See how slow this is?
Mm-hmm.
That's about how slow it moves too. Now that means your ends, if they can't bring in and collapse, and that was Arkansas's problem last year. They couldn't bring ends in to collapse. Now look here, look at how T Will's nickel is. Okay, one, we have our nose directly over the center. That's key number one. Somebody's running a two gap.
Because
you have
Jaffrard is over center. You got Campbell out here.
Mm-hmm. And where's Cam? He's lined up directly over the guard. There's no outside or inside shade. There's no gap for him to shoot because he's not going to shoot a gap.
He's just going to go straight up on the tackle.
Yeah, he's just going to go straight up on his guard. Now here, if you notice, like here at the bottom of the screen, you have one end with his hand in the dirt. But is he outside? Does he have any outside leverage at all?
No, because he's lined up. He's splitting the gap between the tackle and the guard.
So the field side is wide open for a sweep. If they want to run it, it's there all day long, 7 days a week, twice on Sunday. Okay? At the top here, your stand-up end, okay? He's playing an outside shade. But in that case, you're only sending one defensive lineman. And Texas has a tight end in motion. Gee, I wonder where he's going.
To block him.
Yeah.
Now, hit play and watch.
Would you say that it wasn't the system that caused us to have no pressure, or we just didn't have the personnel to?
Both.
Okay. Easy enough.
You had a bad system, and then you didn't have the personnel to run the bad system. Kind of like how Florida struggled against the pass. Okay. Now, were they complete dog water? No, not at all. Did they struggle? Yeah, they struggled, and that's because that was a bit of a personnel issue. With T. Will's defense last year, it was pick your poison. You know, you've got interior guys that are not going to get consistent pressure. You have ends that disappear, that are getting locked up against a tackle. You're giving up outside leverage, and you're letting your quarterback pick you apart. And if they want to run stretches on you, sure, go ahead, because our linebackers are going to be taught to come in, shoot close, get caught in the wash, not make a tackle, and then everybody staring at the bottoms of the feet of the running back.
Good. Yeah, makes sense. All right, so what are we looking at here?
It's the same one. This is the same one. Hold on, I'll change it. This is versus Georgia.
Okay, here we go.
Ooh, this is actually a good one right here. Okay. Here he is presenting pre-snap cover 2 because we have 2 safeties. Okay. Once we move in, we have one guy all by himself. That's the star. A star is a fancy word for nickelback, which means the third defensive back on the field or your third corner.
Not the band.
Right, yeah, definitely not the band, right. And in a 3-3 defense, that nickel is your third safety. Okay? Now here they're presenting what looks to be possibly man. We don't know because it's a too high shell. They could be playing a zone underneath that. We don't know. Once again, you have your 2 linebackers. And where's the mic? Oh, he's on the seam. That makes it very special. Now, you're like, why is he on the seam? Where's the quarterback at? He's also on the seam.
Yep.
And then you have your Sam or your Will, depending, once again, formation, tendencies, things of that sort, okay? Because I used... When I would run this, when I coached, I had a mic, and then I had what I called my cash, right? My cash was always my secondary linebacker. I called him my cash because he was house money, baby. I could do with him whatever I wanted, okay? Then you have your 2 corners, of course. Now, if we start at the top side of the defensive line here, you have your jack. This is one of the twists. You have your jack. Look how jacked that guy is. Look at the biceps on that guy. Good Lord. Then just below the jack, we have the nose. Well, that's odd. Normally, the jack is married with the 3 side, right?
Right.
And the nose is married to the 5 side. But here, we flip those. Question, does it matter? No, it doesn't. Why? Everybody has a single gap. And in this case, obviously, he believes his jack can beat this left tackle. And I would bet yes on that too. You have your nose, then just below your nose, you have your 3, and then you have your 5 married to your 3. And you're like, well, why do they do that? Well, let's look at the possibilities of the defense right here. And let's concentrate from the nose down to the 5. Okay? I have a nose that's shooting the gap between the guard and the center and the guard up top, right? I'm shooting right there in between them. My 3, that leaves him one-on-one in the inside, and then I've got another one-on-one matchup with my 5. I also have a cash behind him, so I can play triangle games. I can run twists. I can have my nose crash down and my 3 wrap around. I can have my nose cash down. I can have my nose crash his normal gap. I can have my 3 loop out and around behind my 5, have my 5 crash down. The offensive linemen have no idea what's going to happen. And once you remove who an offensive lineman is supposed to block, all offensive linemen, I don't care what level, all offensive linemen will go, well, who do I block? That is their first reaction. And if on defense, if you can make the offense think instead of play, you've won.
So would you say when you see them free blitzers during the games, it's because the defensive line confused the offensive lineman and somebody missed an assignment on the offensive line? Because of the confusion the defense put pre-snap.
Right, and not only is there confusion, but let's say they don't put any twists or stunts in here. Let's just say everybody shoots straight gap, okay? Well, that is a lot of pressure coming into the face of this quarterback. I've got an end, a three, and a big nose that's collapsing the pocket. Immediately, there is pressure in his face. Immediately. If he tries to hand off to try to run behind his left guard, I've got a Mike waiting. I've got a star waiting. If I want this star to come down and play man, or not to play man, but if I want this star to come down and more into the box to help in run support and release the Y, I've got a safety over the top that can take him if I'm running straight man.
And I think this is a great play to show how this defense can be crazy.
Go ahead and hit play. Watch the madness. Oh, 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 where are you going? Where are you going? On the ground. That's where you're going. And Georgia has an outstanding offensive line.
I would say so as well.
And see here, look. Pressure in his face, rolling out.
Just a missed tackle. That can be fixed too.
Yeah.
Well, and also that wasn't his go-to. That was his check down. You took away the play they wanted to run, and they made him go to his safety blanket.
Absolutely.
You turned the quarterback into Linus.
Absolutely. Okay?
Then
you got a different package right here.
Now this one, I actually like this one. This is pretty cool. Now what they're presenting here is a cover 4, right? Because we have 4 guys deep. Okay. And you're like, why on earth would they be running this? Well, it's 3rd and 8. It's 3:55 in the first quarter. They've made very little yardage. So they've made 1 yard on first down. They made 1 yard on second down. They are going to throw the ball. So I'm going to back some guys up. Once again, am I in man? Am I in zone? The offense has stacked their receivers up top here, and I'm only showing 1 corner against 2 guys. That's crazy. Or is it? No. I've got a safety deep. I have another man that I could rotate over the top. What I'm showing you is there's a lot of different possibilities of coverages, so nobody's going to be open. Okay? And as long as the back half can cover for how long does it take for a quarterback to read a defense and throw the ball? 4 seconds if they have a good offensive line?
Yeah.
All they have to do is cover for 4 seconds because my front 7 is going to wreak havoc. Now, if we look here, we have one guy standing up all by himself. Well, there's your Mike. He's showing pressure. Is he going to blitz? Quarterback has no idea. But he's simulating pressure, which makes the quarterback change the protection. Okay? The more the quarterback has to change the protection, the less he can pay attention to what the coach is telling him in the ear. And once that play clock hits 15 seconds, he don't have a coach in his ear anymore.
Right.
So once again, advantage defense. So you have your... If we start here at the top, right, we actually have our Jack at the top. We have him stacked over a 5. If they're going to stack wide receivers, I'm going to stack defensive linemen. We have our nose in the middle, and then we have our end here, and then down here at the bottom, we have our star. Is the star showing pressure? Is he coming? Is he not? We don't know. The offense is running 0 personnel, right? So they're going to be throwing the ball. But it's okay because I still have players on the field to cover anything that they're going to want to do because it's Florida State and because it's Gus Malzahn. We all know Gus Malzahn loves to throw the ball after what? 6 yards. You're safe for the first 6 yards. He ain't throwing the ball. Because that's how Gus Malzahn runs his offense. I don't know why, but that's just what he likes to do. He likes to get his guys in space, short throws, and let his athletes take over. But here, I'm not going to give him that space. Go ahead and hit play and watch. Oh,
The
look.
mic dropped in,
Oh,
and the star got the sack.
oh, oh my goodness. Where did he come from? Oh my goodness. He came in untouched. And that's all due to where they were aligned, right?
Right?
So
One thing also to notice about Robertson, if you go back and you watch some of his game tape, he loves to call cat. He loves cats, man. And a cat, of course, is a corner blitz. A nickel technically is a corner, so he loves bringing that nickel. Man, he loves it.
so in your opinion, then, what this defense is extremely successful if everybody on the field knows their assignment and does their job.
And it's easy for them to do that because everybody's assignment is easy.
So it's okay, easy enough, yeah. So would you say there's a lot of like passing off the corners, passing off receivers to safeties that they got to learn and stuff like that when it comes to these kind of coverages, or is it pretty, point blank?
Well, if they're running a zone, that's the only time a defensive back is going to pass off a receiver or a receiving target in his area is if they're in zone,
Right.
right? And he's only then going to pass him off if there's help over the top. If there's no help over the top, he's going to travel.
Gotcha.
Okay, meaning
Yeah.
he's going to
He's
go
gonna be
with the
right.
receiving target.
Basically, he's gonna
Okay?
be in man up on him.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But that type of knowledge is first taught in high school. So these guys, you're not teaching these guys how to remake the wheel. They're doing something they've already been doing their entire football career.
You're just making the wheel better.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're refining your technique at that point at the college level. But yeah, but otherwise your job, once again, that's pretty simple. If I have someone behind me, I let him run. If I don't, I travel with him.
Right.
That's a pretty easy assignment.
Cool. All right. Well,
So who would you put it at these spots with the team that Arkansas has right now?
Okay.
If it were up to you.
good question.
If I was staffing the defense, okay. Now keep in mind, I'm a bit crazy. Okay, keep that in mind. I'm a bit crazy when it comes to who goes where. Okay, because I'm a firm believer in athletes in positions to succeed. Okay, so I got to look at my list here. At my 5, I would have Collins at my 5. At my nose, I'll take the USC transfer. His name is Jones. I would definitely 100% put him at nose because he's a bear of a man. He's strong. He's fast. He has great hand placement. He can beat a double team. Okay, with his athleticism. At my 3, this is where a lot of Arkansas fans are going to go, what? At my 3, I'm going to put Quincy Rhodes Jr. at my 3 because I want size and speed to beat the crap out of the guard. Okay, because guards historically do not handle speed very well. That's the tackle's job to handle speed, not the guards. Okay, it's like having a dump truck drag race a Ferrari. Who's going to win that? The Ferrari every time. If I put speed against a guard, who's going to win every time? My speed. So I'm going to put Quincy Rhodes at my 3. At my jack, I'm putting Waller, the transfer from Auburn. If you guys haven't seen any tape on him, he's a man child. He abuses tackles. I mean, he should be locked up and on like lists. He should have to go to people in his neighborhood and say, "Hi, I'm Waller. I abuse tackles." You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I mean, it's that bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's pretty damn good.
Yeah. At my mic, of course, we have to have Shaw to come back and play Mike. At my wheel, because I would much rather run a wheel if I'm in a nickel. That's just me personally. Okay. I'm going to have my man House. So I've got 2 incredibly athletic linebackers. I've got one side of the field that is filled with athletes now. I've got Waller. I've got Rhodes. Behind them, I've got an athlete at linebacker. I've got an athletic nose. I've got a good solid 5 that can set the edge and help protect the outside to have outside containment. I've got a high quality, fast, athletic Mike that can travel. What are you going to do to my front 7? Nothing. You're not going to do anything, buddy. We're going to put a mop wig on your offense is what we're going to do with that front 7. At my star, I would definitely take a hard look at Lockett, the freshman coming in from Conway that started out his career in California, and kind of go back and talk about the star system doesn't matter. When he was in California, he was a 5-star. He committed to Arkansas, he's a 4-star. He moved to Arkansas, he became a 3-star. How does that happen?
Yeah.
Anyway, I would look at him at my star, right? Because somebody with his size and athleticism, you put him up on the line of scrimmage, and you let Robinson call a cat blitz with him and his speed. The quarterback, it's like sending the Flash on a blitz. The quarterback ain't going to know what happened until he's done got hit. Okay. Scott would be another person I would look at the star position simply because of his size and speed. That's the defensive back from Georgia State for those that are going, who are these people, right? My boundary safety, or for those that play Madden, my strong safety, okay? I would 100% put Harrison there because of his size, his speed, his athleticism, his ability to be a ball hawk. If you have a ball hawk at strong safety, there is nowhere safe on the field for that quarterback to throw the ball. Okay, that's a shark in waters filled with chum. That shark's fixing to eat. Okay, at my free safety, I say we give Taj Overton a shot. Once again, size, speed, simple job. He's a redshirt freshman. I'm not going to ask a lot of him. I'm just going to set him deep, tell him to play center field, have jump responsibility, and go play ball. Right? The less thinking you do, the better. Just go play. Right? At my corners, I would 100% start Lewis and Rowland, because with those, I could play press man, I can play off. I can play man, I can play zone. Everybody in my secondary can play man or zone. Everybody in my front 7 can shoot a gap, can dominate the man in front of them, can wreak havoc, cause pressure. And if I've got defensive linemen shooting gaps, what does that do to the run game? It shuts it down. If they try to run a delay to try to slow down my efforts in the front 4, or if I'm bringing some exotic looks and they want to run a draw to try to slip past my rush, guess what? I've got Kamari House and Shaw behind them to shut that down too. So what are you going to do? Nothing. You're going to go to the sidelines after 3 plays is what you're going to do.
Okay, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
You said that you would have Quincy Rhodes at your 5, right?
At my 3.
At your 3, yeah. Mm-hmm. Could you not possibly slide him out to be your jack?
You could. You absolutely could. And you can, because of the rich defensive talent or defensive tackle talent that Arkansas has signed and brought in, right? You can 100% do that. Will Arkansas do that? Probably. And it wouldn't really be a bad move, except what are you going to do with Waller?
Yeah.
You know, think about back in the day with the New York Giants when they had Lawrence Taylor. Because guess what? Lawrence Taylor played a stand-up end at outside linebacker.
Yeah. So basically, in your theory, you're wanting the best athletes on the field at their position, at every position, regardless of freshman, senior, junior, it doesn't matter. You just want the best athlete on the field in the position that gives your defense the best option to stop the offense.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if Quincy Rhodes gets tired, I can come sit him down, and I have a plethora of guys that play defensive tackle that would have the same high-level ability as a Quincy Rhodes. So there is no drop-off.
David Oakey's one.
Yeah.
That dude's quick.
That would be the first guy that I would sub in at my 3. It would be Quincy Rhodes, and Oakey would be my 2 deep at 3.
And don't get us wrong, everybody. We're not saying that the defense the defense is never going to give up points, and we won't lose a game. Everybody has bad games. Everybody makes mistakes. This is just the best case scenario of what we think could, it's a possible combination of players that could be on the field at any given time for the Razorbacks this year. I think that's the last one we had, right? The last slide we had.
Let me double check.
And also,
yeah, this is the last one.
While he's double checking, I want Arkansas fans to think about this. What if you have Okie starting at your 3? You have Waller beside him at your jack. You have Quincy Rhodes playing the 5. Behind him, you stack House. Now, my 2 best edge rushers are on the field. Where are you going to slide your protection?
Right. Pick your poison. Awesome.
How fast do you want them to get there?
Right. Well, awesome. We made it right about 45 minutes. We appreciate that, Tonka, for coming on with us again. And excellent breakdown. It seems like you're going to be becoming a regular guest on the show here, as long as we're doing these breakdowns and stuff. We have went through what we think, again, what the Arkansas Razorbacks could be putting out on the field as far as defense next year, subject to change. We got some more portal stuff we got to sign, some more portal guys we got to sign. We'll be picking up probably 10 to 15 more players before the end of the week, I would think, which we will break them down to you throughout the week. We will be talking on our live show Tuesday night at 8 o'clock about Ryan Silverfield. Is he the portal king? Is he doing what he needs to do to make Arkansas great again for next year? So at this point, we appreciate everybody that has supported us. We've reached 766 subscribers last time I checked. We finally broke that 750 mark. Been trying to get there for a little minute now, but we blew past it. We are on the road march to 800. We appreciate every one of y'all. And if you like these videos, these breakdown videos, we can do more. Just let us know in the comments below. If you want to see more defensive breakdowns, and if we want to know offense, we can run the offensive side of the ball and teach positions and responsibilities of offensive players. Also, it's just, what do you want to see? So for the Sarge, YT, Tonga Todd, we appreciate y'all. Wish you guys have a great evening, and we'll see you next time on Razorback Live with the Sarge.